Hey, good morning, Grammar 4. It's Mrs. Bunker here. Today we're going to be doing lesson 102, which is using the number line and recording tenths and hundredths. So really it's a decimal number line. So if you guys haven't done your facts practice, go ahead and do those and make sure you do your mental math warm up. And of course that problem solving. So I hope you guys are having a good day so far. And yeah, so let's hop into this, okay? Okay, so here we go. We have used decimal numbers to represent parts of a whole the entire year. So we can also represent decimal numbers on a number line. So if I were to look at this number line right here, we know that when we're going between whole numbers, we want to count each of these little hatch marks to see how many total spaces are in between the whole number. Well, here we see that there are 10 hatch marks. And so that means that each one of these little quantities represents 1/10. So if we are at the first hatch mark, we are at 3 1/10, which would be represented as 3 1/10 or 3 1/10 using a decimal. Sorry that I skipped this up here, but we know that this little line in between the two rulers represents a length. This length segment can be written using millimeters, which would be 23 millimeters or 2.3 centimeters. All right, so we just said that these lengths represents, or this length represents the same quantity, whether it is 23 millimeters or 2.3 centimeters. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this example at the top of page 475. Again, if you are between two whole numbers, 3 and 4, and if you were to count all of these little hatch marks, you would see that there are 100 parts. It's divided into 100 parts. So this number right here, we would count up. We know that this right here would be 10, 20, and then halfway between 10 is 5. So this hatch mark is a quarter of the way from 3 to 4, or 3 25 hundredths, or as a fraction, 3 25 over 100. So a meter stick is divided into 100 centimeters, and each centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. So a pencil that is 18 centimeters long is 18/100ths meters, which is 18/100ths of a meter long. So let's use that same reasoning that we used right here to do example 1. It says Santiago is 162 centimeters tall. What is Santiago's height in meters? Well, we know that 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. So Santiago's height is 1 meter plus 62 centimeters. Since 62 centimeters is 62/100ths of a meter, Santiago is 1 62/100ths meters tall. So let's look at example 2. It says write the decimal number to which each arrow points. So again, we want to count between each of the whole numbers to find out how many hatch marks there are. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there are 10 total, then we know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that this decimal part, or where the arrow is pointing, is 6/10ths of the way to 10. So we would write it as 9.6, or 9 6 over 10. Excuse me. All right, let's go ahead and look at this one now. Now we're looking even deeper. If you were to count the number or the hatch marks between 7 5/10 and 7 6/10, we're going to count that there are 10 total here. So if we're pointing at this arrow right here, that is 2 hatch marks from 7 5/10. So we would write it as 7 52/100ths. We're just going to add a 2 on the end because it is 2/10ths of a way, or a space away from 7 5/10. All right, so let's go ahead and do some rounding now. So we're going to round 9 6/10 to the nearest whole number. Well, we know that 9 rests between 9 and 10. So 6/10 is more than halfway. Again, remember the old saying, 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 and below, keep it where it is. So 9 6/10 is going to be rounded up to the next nearest whole number, which is 10. So now we have 7 52/100ths to the nearest 10th. That's this guy right here. So we're going to look at our 2. We're going to say, is it 5 or above? No. So we're going to keep it at 7 5/10. because the nearest tenth is 7 and 5/10. The next nearest is 7 and 6/10. 7 and 52/100 is closer to 7 and 5/10. All right, so what I want you guys to do today is to grab a meter stick and pencil and paper, and I want you to measure the heights of various objects in your house, such as doors, tables, desks, books, and I want you to measure it to the nearest centimeter and record the measurement twice, once in centimeters and once in meters. So here's what it would look like. Draw a table. We talked about tables on Monday. So you could write the height of a door. You could have a column that says centimeters, and you could have a column that says meters. So I want you to write the centimeters, and then I want you to convert it into meters. Remember, there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So have fun with that. There's a ton of stuff, I'm sure, around your house that you can measure. Guys, when you're done with that, then I want you to do your lesson practice. Make sure you do A through J, and then have it checked by a parent, and then you can hop into your mixed practice. So I hope you guys are doing well. We are praying for your families, and we are excited about the time when we can see you guys all again. Okay, bye friends.